Hello, everybody, and happy Friday. I wanted to come to you today with our first featured speaker. And as I shared last week on my Wednesday stretch call, I will be featuring a business owner each week while we are in this interesting time, right, that we're in, of everyone being sheltered in place and working remotely, and really featuring businesses that have transitioned, they have pivoted, and they are doing something different to be able to continue to service their customers. So my first business owner that I have with me today that we're going to talk to in terms of what that transition has looked like for her is Mrs. Karen Richards. And she is the owner of KR Health Connections. And she's going to just tell us a little bit about what this has looked like for her over these last few weeks as she's made this transition. So welcome, Karen. And my first question for you is, can you explain to everybody really what your traditional business model was before this time frame?
Sure. Well, thanks, Megan, for having me. I'm excited to be your first speaker on this topic. What I do is I own a company that writes health and wellness plans. So some of you may say, I have no idea what that means. Basically, we're providing extra services on top of it. Does not matter whether you have a major medical plan or not. It doesn't matter if you have one and only half your employees join. What we do is we find services that just help better support the overall health and wellness of your staff, your team. It can be anything from out of the box, thinking like essential oils and yoga, to mental health support, could be financial planning, anything that just helps their spiritual, physical, mental health and wellness. So for me, I used to walk into a company and say, what do you have? And I really worked local to where I was. I was just starting to expand into Metro Nashville. I live about 40 miles north. And that was a huge deal because I was having to drive down the highway, schedule these appointments. And so with this stay at home, it really stopped all our travel. We have been stay at home here where I live for about 22 days. And so even before that, Metro Nashville had stayed at home. So I really had to think about how am I going to reach out to potential new people? And I already was doing some of these Zoom calls kind of as a way to introduce myself or just do maybe a 15-minute consultation. And so I really just started digging in, reaching out to some friends in different states and saying, do you feel supported right now? How are you doing? So many of us have families, so maybe we're working at home for the first time with, I know in my house, I got a spouse who's a teacher, so he's teaching kids online while our 3 kids are online, one of them being a college student who's not happy about being home, a dog, and a new puppy. So it's kind of wild in our house. And so I know other people are feeling that same kind of stretch, what they're having to do. And so they've also never worked remotely before. And so we just thought, how can we best support them? So we just started having these conversations, what does that look like? What would make you feel good right now? And I've just gotten to some great conversation with executive directors and some C-level management and some HR departments. And so, yeah, it's really took off just that now, I have a new client in California. So it's awesome that I'm able to reach people in different places that I personally had never really thought of before and give them some support that they need.
Yeah, that's interesting. So previous to this, you were servicing businesses local to you there in the Nashville, Tennessee, Clarksville, Tennessee area, working with clients there. And now, because you were sort of forced to go online, now you've recognized you actually can then expand that to a nationwide offering. So that is very, very cool. One thing that I think is interesting, and I would love to hear some comments from all of you in terms of what your companies are doing for you, is one thing that in our conversations it really brought to light for me is, while right now everyone is forced to work from home, there have in the past, right, even though there were some employees that were in-house, there were work from home staff. And that is something that I think, as we were having conversations around what did this look like to go, fully remote with your offering, was there a hole? What were companies doing before this to help with the health and wellness of their remote staff? Have you found that, as you kind of shifted gears to think about ways to support companies' work from home staff, that actually was an opportunity for a lot of businesses who previously maybe were trying to do some of this stuff, but it was all in-house options.
Absolutely. I think that when people go back to not having to shelter in home, there's not going to be a go back to quote normal, right? I think normal is gone, whatever that looked like. And I think people that were able to shift and go online are going to find a whole new audience, right? Like some of us are taking yoga from instructors across the globe that we had no idea we had access to. We're finding fun courses. I know my daughter and I signed up for a class at Harvard. Like we're doing a cooking class. How cool is that? But at the same time, yes, I know that there are people that were working from home and unfortunately some of their response has been, well, welcome to my world. This is how it is. I don't have support at home. And I'm thinking, you work from home for whatever reason. There's people that work from home just for convenience. There's people that work from home because they're disabled. There's people that work from home because they have small children and their company allows for that, which is wonderful. But again, maybe they're working from home with small children and they feel very isolated. So there's a lot of opportunity there that companies, I think, are going to be looking at and just expanding what their offerings are. It's going to be more than online tech support. I think they're going to have to really dive into how can I truly support my team when they're working remotely, because this has shown all of us that those of us who thought we couldn't work online can.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Well, I just kind of alluded to it, but we would love to hear in the comments anything you have seen that your company is doing in terms of those wellness type of support services that they're offering to you at this time. If you're not getting that support, definitely let us know what some things are that you would love to see your company offer you. And that might be a place where Karen can plug in and help them get that set up. And really get that support for you. So, Karen, anything else that you would like to share with our audience today?
Yeah, I would say, you can jump on my website, which is krhealthconnections.com. I'm actually waiving my initial consult fee right now, just because I am not having to travel. So why not pass that on to all of you as well? So I would love to speak with anyone that's just looking for some ideas right now, and we can brainstorm a little bit together, just a little mini session, do like a 15-minute call, see what your offering is. Maybe you're not the CEO of your company, but you're an employee and you would love your boss to have a conversation with me so we can get you some support. So yeah, just reach out and I'd be happy to help.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for spending this time with me, Karen, and hats off to you for figuring out how to pivot and quite possibly uncovering a totally new and much more scalable business model for your business. So congratulations, and thanks so much for hopping on. Bye. Bye, guys.